and it sounded really good until I walked in the daycare, and like 3 days in a row they was eating some GMO sugary cereal, and I was like, oh, whoa, what's going on? Basically, when I first moved back to Minnesota and I got my son into childcare, one of the most important things for me was, okay, well, what do you guys feed the kids? And the woman told me, she's like, yeah, we make sure they have fruits, so many fruits, so many vegetables, and we, follow XYZ. And it sounded really good until I walked in the daycare, and like 3 days in a row they was eating some GMO sugary cereal, and I was like, oh, whoa, what's going on? It made me just like, it's like I can cook breakfast every day if this is what you guys are feeding the kids. That's, what you told me is like different from what I'm seeing here. And so I actually worked with the director of the school to change their menu, and for whatever reason that didn't end up falling through, but I had it lined up to where we could change their menu and get the kids eating healthier. They were growing a garden on the side of the school, so it was like incorporating that and really just kind of helping kids discover and eat more vegetables. And that didn't end up going through for one reason or another. And so I said, my kids gotta go. I can't have them at this school. So I found another school where they were actually feeding the kids organic food. And, the school was like $1,500 a month. I was like, I don't care. I'll figure out a way to make it work. More than what I was paying in rent. And then it just was no longer feasible. That's a lot of money for, childcare. And so I ended up finding a place where they would allow you to bring your own lunch. And I did that. So I ended up making lunches for my kids. It is a process. Of course, anything's better if you meal prep and you prepare for that. But it's not always the easiest thing. And especially when you live in a food desert, I usually have to go to a couple different grocery stores to make things happen, to make lunches happen. I gotta go to Trader Joe's, I gotta go to Whole Foods, just to make it happen. And it just began to be really tough. And then culture, as we talked about, plays a huge role in how we eat. And culturally, eating's a big thing in the Black community. We like to season our food up. We like feast. We don't like to just have avocado toast and some fruit for breakfast. We like to have the potatoes, some fried fish, everything we can think of that can go with that. Thank you. Let's find a little toy for the baby. We like to have everything with that, right? It's not just, we're just not used to having something simple, at least in my family anyway. And so me trying to eat healthy and my family just doing what we do, eating good is what we call it, eating good, right? That can be a difficult thing. Like when you try to eat healthy and make healthy life changes, it's really something that we need to do as a whole community, because each one teach one, it takes a village, all that stuff, it applies especially when it comes to healthy eating. And that's what made me get involved with Northside Fresh. Basically to teach the community how to eat healthy. Being in a food desert and, you know, growing up, in Africa, we used to have griots, you know, people that would share the story and pass along the story, make sure it got passed along. Well, it seems like these days people aren't really sharing the stories about, you know, healthy eating and all of the positive things that go with farming and, you know, raising your own food, growing your own food. And those stories are getting lost. So the story that is being passed on is this corner storage food and this, you know, go to the nearest gas station and grab something, you know, and that's what's being passed along right now, instead of, you know, a lot of community teaching about food. And it's affecting our communities very poorly, as you can see from COVID-19. You know, we have the highest rates of death as a result of being sick. And COVID-19, if you do the research, you know that is something that, you know, is similar to the flu as far as, you know, catching something or dying from an illness. It's really not much different from the flu. And people that are dying are people that are having pre-existing conditions like high blood pressure, asthma, illnesses that can be helped by changing your diet. Culturally, growing up, we didn't really learn about healthy food per se. I mean, I can remember things that I wouldn't really implement today, like cinnamon sugar toast, you know, putting some white sugar, some butter on some toast and, you know, putting it under the broiler. Or like macaroni and cheese, or I don't know, certain things today that I wouldn't do just because I know better as far as being healthy goes, you know. And so the first lesson that I can remember having about health, or even paying attention to what I was putting in my body, was I was in this program called Black Achievers, and one of the presenters was talking about a pack of M&Ms and how many calories were actually in a pack of M&Ms and how many servings. And that was kind of like my introduction to food consciousness. And from there, I can remember, you know, I told my family I wasn't eating pork anymore. And somewhere down the line, we were eating breakfast, and, you know, we were having that big breakfast that I was talking about earlier, where, you know, there was bacon, eggs, hash browns, biscuits, pancakes, waffles, just everything. And I can remember I put some bacon on my sandwich. I was like, I'm gonna have some bacon today. And as soon as I bit the sandwich, my dad was like, squeak, squeak, you know, squeaking and squealing like a little pig. And, you know, one thing, I tell that story because it's like when you make that change and turn that corner to try and eat healthy, you know, it really has to be a family thing. It's got to be something that, you know, we can work on as a community, you know, so we can stop pushing out these things that, you know, are not healthy for us. Just because if it's there, you know, it's a lot more easy to access. It's a lot more likely that you're gonna not eat healthy. And that's how the north side is. Everything here is not healthy. And so how many people, first of all, have transportation to go to Maple Grove and go find something healthy, or Burnsville, or wherever, Shakopee, wherever? You know, it's just not in our neighborhood. And the food disparities, the economic disparities, social disparities that we have in our community are a huge contributor to our culture, why we're not eating healthy, and what we view as healthy, and how we think about healthy. And that's one thing that, you know, really needs to change. When I was a part of Northside Fresh, it's a group that's committed to changing things on the North Side. They've been around for 8+ years, and as a program manager over there, I can remember going to a meeting, and at this particular training, there was a diversity inclusion woman there. I don't remember her name, but one of the questions that she asked the participants to ask was, what questions should we keep in the forefront of our mind while we're doing our community service, to be more aware of diversity and inclusion. And one of the ladies asked, how do we make it more prideful for people to come and get served, come and get food? And when I heard that, it really kind of just blew me. It really kind of blew the way I even felt about the position, because I'm like, why are we talking about how do we make it more prideful for people to come and receive food that, one, is 9 times out of 10 at its expiration date, day before, maybe even day after, not maybe, but day before, day after, food that is, basically you gotta pick through it to eat it. Like, first of all, if you have troubles getting vegetables, and then all the vegetables that you get are like wilted, past date, slimy, or whatever, that's making it even harder, right? So it's like, here we are providing this, but people aren't eating it. Okay, well, that's part of the problem. But anyways, her thought process, and it was the thought process of a lot of people in there, their hearts were genuine. They genuinely wanted to help, but it's not, how do we make it more prideful for you guys to get this food we're giving you? It's, how do we stop you from being in a position to have to come and get food that's left over from who knows when, and donate it from stores not being able to sell it anymore. So our economic circumstances and, all the disparities that we face, they all go hand in hand. So we have to address the bigger issue, and that is equality in America. That is, a lot of the issues that George Floyd brought about. We have to address that kind of stuff in order to really help ourselves when it comes to food. Everything is tied together. There's no single issue that doesn't fit in as a puzzle piece in the broad spectrum of things. Culture, disparities, food, all those things play a huge role in our community eating better, being healthier, and we have to find a way to address that.